Yo, what is going on, my fellow wrestling fans? Welcome to a brand new week, and welcome to a post Money in the Bank and crazy ass episode of Monday Night Raw edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we dive headfirst into all the controversy, storylines, personalities, and all that shit in between that center around this world we know and love as professional wrestling. For better or worse, I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka Kurt GPT in the flesh as always. And my co-host needs no introduction. What the hell with it? He's about to give y'all one anyway.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jonathan Randall, the Adventurer himself, at your guys' service, and welcome to our wrestling podcast, our soap opera that we love to deliver the news to. And man, one hell of a weekend that we had, man. Money in the Bank, and literally last night on Raw especially, crazy.
Yeah, we also had Worlds Collide on Saturday afternoon before Money in the
Yes.
Bank took place, which was a great event from what everybody said. And then we had Money in the Bank Saturday night, and that was also a good show too. And honestly, more than anything, as good as Money in the Bank was, what happened on Raw last night was even better.
Yeah. When I look back at this event, I kind of be honest with you, I kind of enjoyed this event a little bit more than Backlash, just a little bit. But
Fair enough.
yeah, fair. Yeah, to be fair. But yeah, after what happened on Raw, it's just look. A lot of people complain about how Raw is not. It's kind of ever since they went to Netflix. I disagree. I feel like the product and the stuff they put on their show is actually pretty decent and good. It keeps me tuning in every Monday. This is one of the best episodes that they had.
Yeah,
I've
especially
seen very good episodes in the past, right? But this one last night, it's on that list.
Yeah, especially for this year. Yeah, it's definitely one of the better episodes I've seen, yeah, ever since the start of 2025 and their move to Netflix. But we'll get into Raw a little bit later. But first, we're going to break down Money in the Bank. Shorty, what you drink? I got money in the bank. Shorty,
Still,
what you think?
still haven't even made it the theme song yet, man.
They need to. They
I
need to,
know.
bro. Instead of that generic bullshit they use every year, yo, I'm telling you, Lil Scrappy could it be like a career resurgence for him, and like
Yep.
WWE be more like a part of the culture and whatnot. Yeah, it's a win-win, but they just can't get out of their own ways.
Yeah.
All right,
Hey,
but in
but
any
the
event,
setting was dope for Saturday, man. The Intuit Dome in Inglewood, and they've been there before. That was their first Raw on Netflix episode there. Nice arena. Um, Nice arena, even though it's home of the Clippers, though, but they'll get taken over whenever the Lakers show up. But anyway, that's other news. But yeah, it was a nice setting, Inglewood, under the shadows of LA, and yeah, it was Money in the Bank. And first match that we start off, which I knew from start off the night with the women's Money in the Bank ladder match.
yes, we had Rhea Bloody Ripley, Stephanie Vacour, Roxanne Perez, Julia, Naomi, and Alexa Bliss.
Mm-hmm. It was a good match. Great spots. You have to have good
Yeah,
spots in this match.
yeah, one of the spots I really liked was when Roxanne Perez did that springboard moonsault on Rhea Ripley when she was like lying on the ladder. Yeah, that was
Wow.
dope. And
I
also,
lo-
I know Booker T was loving this spot when Stephanie
yeah,
Vacour did the Devil's Kiss to Rhea Ripley on top of the ladder. Holy
yeah.
shit!
I know Booker T was losing it. I know Booker T was losing it earlier that day.
Every man in the world was losing it.
Exactly. Crazy.
What were you saying about earlier
That
that
was my
day?
no, because didn't Stephanie well not didn't Stephanie Valkyrie competed well she competed
Uh,
on Worlds Collide and SmackDown night the day before, right?
yeah, she wrestled 3 matches in 24 hours.
Crazy.
Holy shit! Yeah, girl's
Wow.
definitely on the grind.
She's putting in work.
Yeah, she is, and I don't mind
Yeah.
watching it.
Me neither. But I had to say that was my favorite spot when she was doing the Devil's Kiss to Rhea Ripley on top of the ladder. She was, I as a fan, she was my pick to win. But business wise, we both picked somebody else to win this match.
Yes, and there was one point in the match also where Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez both did dueling code reds at the same time off the top of the ladder. Like uh, Alexa Bliss did it to Naomi on one side, and then Roxanne Perez, I believe, did it to Stephanie McCool on the other side.
Yeah, I saw that.
Perfect.
I thought that was dope. Good sequence.
Yeah, it was a great sequence. And then there was one point where Alexa Bliss and Rhea Ripley were like climbing up the ladder, and then Naomi just pushed them both off, and they fell onto like another ladder that was like lying in between like the turnbuckles. And then Naomi climbed the ladder and proceeded to grab the money in the bank briefcase. And Naomi is your 2025 Women's Money in the Bank. Thank God.
That was our pick, and it was the right pick to choose, the right move to make it happen because she's on a hot heel run, and you got to keep it running if you want to take her seriously as a heel. I mean, think about it. She started off as a heel with somebody with no title implications in that storyline with Jay Cargill. That's just great. So you top it off with, hey, let's give her the briefcase. Let's give her the money to bank briefcase. I'm sorry, I'm saying beefcake.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say beefcake. Yo, that gimmick
No,
died 4 years ago.
that's what it sounded like. But you get my point. But anyway, this is good for her. She needed it, man, especially on her heel run. This is great. She needs that one last run when potentially this may be it for her, like towards the end of the year. This is good for her. Congrats.
Yeah, this is probably the biggest achievement she's ever had in her career. Even more than winning the title at WrestleMania in her hometown a few years ago, I feel like this is as big as it's ever been for her. And I'm so happy that she got to have this. I've loved this new character she's been playing ever since she turned heel a few months ago. And yeah, she's just been killing it on every level, like on her mic work, the new look, and her ring work has always been solid.
Mm.
But yeah, just everything in general has just been working. And I'm so happy that she got this, that she got rewarded like on this stage. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when she eventually does cash in.
I don't know. I have this funny feeling that she may cash in on Tiffany Stratton
Of
eventually.
course, she's gonna crash in on
That's
Tiffany
going to be that
Stratton.
one. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gonna be karma for Tiffany Stratton because she won it by cashing in. Now somebody's gonna win by cashing in on her.
Hate to say it though. I love Tiffany though. But hey,
Yeah,
let's right
Tiffany's
now
great.
let's just enjoy her title run, huh?
Yeah, Tiffany's great. Honestly, like her entrance at WrestleMania, like really stood out with the whole Barbie entrance. And honestly, just watching that movie, like I've seen it before, it like just reminds me so much of her in so many different ways. Yeah, Tiffany Stratton reminds me of Barbie, and Joe Henry reminds me of Ken.
That's funny.
The
Both
look on
two
his face,
blondes.
yeah, he reminds me of
Yeah.
Ken.
Funny.
Yeah, but Naomi, congrats to her. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when she cashes in. And in the meantime, I think her and Jade Cargill still have unfinished business. But
I believe so. Yeah.
fingers crossed, no pun intended for the person I'm about to speak about. If she's able to come back in time, we see Naomi and Bianca at SummerSlam.
Oh yes. How could we forget about Bianca Belair?
You could never forget about Bianca Belair.
No, never. Because I feel like with her coming back, I mean, there's unfinished business between those three. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah, definitely.
yeah.
But we'll see what happens in the coming weeks with that. But congratulations to Naomi. So let's move on to our second match, which was added the afternoon of the show at Worlds Collide. We had Dominic Mysterio, the chicken tender slut himself,
The
defending his
Intercontinental Champion.
Intercontinental. Yeah, the Intercontinental Champion, fair enough, aka Vatos Locos Forever in your case, defending his
Yeah.
Intercontinental title against Octagon Jr.
Hey, you know what? I love how the sequence started because look, it looked like it was just well, we're having four matches on this card, but I loved how they played this out earlier in the day where there was a confrontation between the two at the Worlds Collide event, literally like blocks away from the Intuit Dome at the famous Forum, the former home of my beloved Lakers. But I love how the sequence that they had over there, and then they decided like, look, we're gonna add another match, let's play it out. And they played it out perfectly. I loved how Dominic Mysterio was like, look, you know what? I'll do it. You know, I'll defend this title anytime, anywhere. Look, I'll put the title on the line later today in Money in the Bank. And they did. Um, it was, decent match. It was just a new person from the AAA lucha organization, Octagon Junior, who I'd never heard of, but hey, good presentation. I just felt like, and some fans were saying this, some fans felt like he got buried wrongly, though, by losing
I
cleanly like that. I don't know. That's what a lot of people are saying.
I don't think it's so much the losing cleanly. It's the fact that the match was so short and he kind of like lost the way he did. It was like an
Mm.
impromptu match they added to the last minute with no story
Hmm.
really or whatever. And then the match ultimately ends when Liv Morgan, who was at ringside in Dominic's corner, distracts Octagon, and then Dominic takes advantage of it, hits him with the 619, hits him with a frog splash on his back, and then retains his title. And that was that.
Yeah. I mean, look, we knew Dominic was going to win. We knew that,
No
but
shit.
it's just, yeah, of course, but it was just like the timing of the match and then how the way it ended. And some people were like, well, wait a minute. Now you literally have this, literally like a newcomer from a very well received Worlds Collide event. Let's not forget about that, Kurt. This was a very good event they had at the forum as well. Very, very well received. A lot of social media views, just a lot of views for this event, and then you end up losing badly like that to Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. Some people were complaining about how um, you know the finish of just how the way he got buried, I guess.
I mean, is what it is. I mean, it was like I said, it was like a match they added on the show at the last minute. I wouldn't really get
Yeah.
too, amped up about that. But if this keeps happening, like in the months to come, where they always lose to the WWE people, then that would be a different story. But until then, I think it's much ado
Hmm.
about nothing.
Hmm.
So Dominic retains, and let's get on to our next match from the men's Intercontinental title to the women's Intercontinental title. We had Lyra Valkyria defending against the woman who she owes a lot of the success in her career to over these last few months, admittedly, but Becky Lynch.
I ain't gonna lie, this is my favorite match of the night.
Yeah, it was. It was probably the best match of the show. That and probably the
Yeah.
men's Money in the Bank were probably the two best matches.
Yeah, that I just we knew I love the stipulation of the match and the fact that you have this title on the card and the feud. I loved it. It was a great match. A lot of near falls and great spots. When Becky Lynch hit the manhandle slam from the top rope, I thought it was over, but it wasn't. I was surprised Lila Fakira kicked out.
Yeah, she has heart, son. And there was this one point in the
Yes.
match where Lyra leg dropped Becky as she was like hanging from the railing outside the ring. And then she even hit the Nightwing on the Becky on the floor at one point too, but it still wasn't
Yeah.
enough.
And then, but both of them were like knocked out for the longest time. I was saying to myself, like, please don't tell me they're going to both get counted out. I mean, if they're going to do this to extend the story, I understand. But like, damn, I was like, oh my god, what if they both get counted out? And they both surprisingly got in literally at the count of 9. They both, broke the count, going jumping back into the ring. But man, I got a little scared at first when I saw that.
Yeah, that was too damn close. But
Oh.
thank God they did not end the match that way. The match continued.
Right.
But then they were trading roll ups, and then eventually Becky rolled up Lyra and pulled her tights while she was rolling her up and got the
Hmm.
win. And Becky Lynch is the new women's Intercontinental Champion, the second one to ever hold that title. And as the stipulation, Lyra Valkyria had to raise her hand and tell her she was the better
Yeah.
woman.
She did. She did it the first time, but Becky Lynch was like, "No, that wasn't good enough. You need to do it in every corner of the ring, facing the camera, facing left, right, behind you." He was like, "You got to do it all over the place so they could see us." And then Lyra Valkyria wasn't having it, and as we predicted during our prediction show last week, that hey, when this is going to happen, Lyra Valkyria is going to knock her out, and she did.
Well, what happened was Becky kept like demanding Lyra to like raise her hand like in front of all the sides of the crowd, and then she like took it a step further and demanded that Lyra put the belt around her waist. That's some like
Mm.
real Virgil Ted DiBiase type shit. But yeah, she was like demanding she do that, and then as Lyra was putting the title around her waist, she German suplexed her ass and laid her ass out with the Nightwing to pretty much signal that this feud is far from over. Good shit.
Yeah, great way to. It's funny how Backlash Live Kira was the one who rolled her up, and then Becky Lynch pretty much flips the script and does the same thing to win the title. And yeah, as we both predicted, we knew this was going to happen. And yeah, Lila Vakira raised Becky Lynch's hand though, but guess what? Lila Vakira pretty much got the last say in a physical way on Becky Lynch. Yeah, this feud is not over.
Yeah, even though she does not have the title anymore, Lyra, I think, will be fine. I'm looking forward to seeing how much this feud progresses. And we saw a lot of that
Mm-hmm.
progression of the feud on Raw last night. But we'll get into that a little later. But yes, Becky Lynch is the new Women's Intercontinental Champion. Great match. And yes, arguably the best match and best thing on the whole show.
Hands down.
So next we have the men's Money in the Bank ladder match, which consisted of Mr. Wacky Ass Outfits himself, Seth freaking Rollins, LA Knights in LA of all places, Solo Sokoa, Penta, El Grande Americano, and
And Braun
Andrade.
Breaker. You mentioned Braun. No, no,
Braun
no,
Breaker
no.
wasn't in the match.
Well, yeah, later though.
All right, let's get into it. So we had the match. It was pretty fun. There was a pretty cool, pretty good amount of good high spots in this match, including one where Penta hit the Mexican Destroyer onto Andrade on top of the ladder. That was pretty nasty.
I loved how the match started because Solo Sikoa was trying to get on everybody's good side. And
Yo,
look, he has changed over the years, man. Over the year, it's crazy how he was that serious enforcer guy, how he didn't talk much and all that, and now he's just like he's kind of like his personality is coming out more, and
yeah,
he's like,
honestly, as a character, he's come a long way. Like I find him very entertaining. I mean, is he somebody I see like being the world champion or whatnot? Probably not. But as a character, yes, he has definitely grown in the last year or so.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the
It was
match is
just
going. So
no, I
the
was saying it
match is
was
go.
funny.
Yeah, it was, and then the match is going on, and then Seth Rollins like down outside the ring, and he said he's like calling for some people to come out, which we pretty much knew who he was calling out, and it turned out to be his new stable mates of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and yo, they look badass coming out the way they did,
Mm-hmm.
and Braun Breaker just spears the hell out of El Grande Americano, spray like spears all the rice and beans out of him.
Hey, it was American factory made. It wasn't real Mexican rice and beans curd.
Yeah, it's from Taco Bell. It's from Taco Bell.
Right? But dude, the visual when he ran out there down that ramp and just speared the hell out of El Grande Americano. Dude, his spears are just lethal. We talk about his spear that he did to Carlito at WrestleMania earlier this year, and now this one, my God, that was a vicious spear, man.
Yeah, and then he speared LA Knight outside the ring, and then Bronson Reed hit a tsunami on Andrade. They were running through everybody, and then all of a sudden, Jeff Cobb and Jacob Fatu come out.
Mm-hmm.
So business really picked up. They got into a
Oh
big
yeah.
brawl. All four men started going at it, and then Braun Breaker eventually speared Jeff Cobb through the railing, which was pretty nasty to watch. But then Jacob Fatu got the better of Bronson Reed, super kicked him, hit him with that springboard moonsault. And yeah, he was doing like the wiggly moves and all that jazz. Yo, I was at a bar actually watching Money in the Bank. People were going crazy for
Well, I bet.
Jacob Fatu. They were losing
I
their
bet.
minds.
Hey man, he's the future. Him and Braun Breaker are like the future of this business, and these are two guys where you could definitely see them as potential future world champions.
And main eventers of WrestleMania.
Yes.
But Jacob Fatu's helping up Solo, helping him climb up the ladder, and then Solo's climbing up the ladder, and then all of a sudden, Jacob Fatu like holds his leg and just stares at him, and Solo's like, "Yo, what are you doing? What the hell are you doing?" And then Jacob Fatu says the words we've been hoping and praying for him to say for the last 6 months. He tells Solo, "I hate you." And then he pulls him off the ladder, super kicks him, hits him with a springboard moonsault, and then hits him with a man slam through a ladder on the floor.
Crazy. We saw this
Fuck.
coming, man. After what we saw, what escalated on SmackDown the day before, yeah, we kind of saw
Yeah.
this coming,
Yeah, the night
huh?
before on SmackDown, Solo was talking to Jeff Cobb. He was talking crap about Jacob Fatu. He basically called them all gas but
All
no
gas,
brains.
no brain. Yeah,
Yeah, he said he was all gas, no brains, and they were both laughing it off. But then as they were walking away, Jacob Fatu was standing right behind them.
very similar to Batista and Triple H 20 years ago. And same thing with Bayley and
Damage
Io
control.
Sky. Yeah, damage control. Yep.
Yeah, so I loved how
Can't
this
be
played
doing
out.
that in the rest. You can't be doing that in the wrestling business, man. I don't know when people are ever going to learn. You gotta. Maybe they need to like have these talks in a very private area. You know what I mean? Because you may never know whoever's lurking and listening to your guys to your conversation.
Yeah, so Solo Sikoa paid the major price in this whole scenario, which I expected him to. So now we're
Yeah,
on the fast track for Solo and Jacob Fatu possibly at SummerSlam. But yeah,
yeah,
honestly, this is the highlight of the whole match was this whole angle.
yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, so Jacob Fatu officially turned on Solo. Their friendship is officially done after 1 year. And then Seth Rollins and LA Knight kind of came down to the two of them. And then Rollins curb stomped LA Knight. And then Rollins climbed the ladder, retrieved the briefcase, and became the second person in WWE history besides CM Punk to win the Money in the Bank twice.
Yeah, he's the second
Damn.
male wrestler to win that briefcase twice. Him and CM Punk. Um, this whole ending of the match was mixed, saying how like a lot of people that LA Knight should have won this match. I know me and you both picked him last week in our prediction show, but at the same time, I am kind of not surprised that Seth Rollins won because of the role that he's doing. So it is a little bit disappointing that LA Knight did not win. But yeah, the whole the reception of this was mixed because a lot of people wanted LA Knight to win. Do you feel
Yeah.
like Seth Rollins was the right person to win?
Not really, but only time will tell to see if I still feel this way. Because, in all honesty, out of all six of the guys in this match, he needed it the least.
True, because you got to when you look at these matches, it's mainly for the ones that are going to win this match are pretty much like the newcomers, like the ones that are like, okay, they've never been champion before, and these are future people that are going to carry the company in the future, right? And Seth Rollins already did that, you know what I mean? He already has, he doesn't have a lot to prove, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's why we both picked LA Knight last week. So I don't know. I trust what they're gonna do, but I don't know. This is why this whole reception of Seth winning was a little bit, a little bit mixed.
Yeah, I'm a little mixed about it too. It was kind of like a letdown for him to win because he's already done so much, and it would have like I
Yeah,
think benefited LA Knight a lot more. But at the same time, I get it because like he still has this stable that's relatively fresh with Breaker, Reed, and Heyman. It's still like a fresh stable. It's a top heel faction on Raw, so this win and having the briefcase adds more heat to him and adds more heat to the stable. So in that regard,
yeah,
I understand it. But at the same time, yeah, it was a bit of a letdown, admittedly.
true, true. Because we saw what happened at WrestleMania with LA Knight. He loses the title, and I was like, okay, now he's gonna gun for go after for the world title eventually, and this is that spot now. This is kind of like similar to last year where we thought like, okay, Jey Uso is gonna be that guy to win it. This is his year, you know what I mean? Like, okay, this is his breakout year. He's gonna win the Money in the Bank contract, but he didn't. Drew McIntyre won, so this is kind of similar to last year when I really think about it.
Yeah, but we'll see how it plays out. But unlike last year, Seth Rollins did not try to cash in on the same night and get
Oh
screwed
no,
over by CM
no,
Punk.
no, no. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. Seth Rollins took his time the last time. We saw how that happened. So yeah, Seth, he's come on, he's smarter than we think.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Seth Rollins is your 2025 Men's Money in the Bank winner. And now we are on to the main event as we had Cody Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso team up to face the last real WWE Champion John Cena and the man who will never be WWE Champion, the douchebag fuck, Logan Paul.
Your mortal enemy.
Society's mortal enemy. I've said that on this show before. Anybody with a conscience, anybody with a heart in any form of their body whatsoever doesn't like Logan Paul as much as I don't like Logan Paul.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. There probably is somebody out there that likes him. You may never know.
Yeah, the same people who probably like Trump
But
and
anyway, though,
and
yeah, tag
ignorant
team.
and ignorant toxic hip hop. Those people.
Okay. Yeah, it was our tag team match at the end of the night. What do you thought about this match, Kurt?
Started out a little slow. The first half of the match was a little slow and kind of like,
Mm,
yeah, like a basic match you would see on Raw. But it really picked up in the second half with like the miscommunications between John Cena and Logan Paul. And I
no
did like that
surprise.
once. But I will admit, as much as I don't like the douchebag fuck Logan Paul, I have to give credit where it's due. He was probably the star of this entire match.
Oh, of course, with the moves that he was doing, especially towards the end of the match. There's a springboard moonsault to Jey Uso through the announce table.
Not even just that. There was that one spot where he was holding the drone when he was on the top rope, and then Cody superplexed him from the top rope while he had the drone in his hand still, and then Jey Uso did a
Mm-mm.
moonsault to him. That shit was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a great spot, man. Yeah, I have to give the dude credit. I don't care for him personally for the way he comes off, but yo, when it comes to putting on an entertaining match, he delivers.
I've always been saying. I've been saying that for the past couple of years. Like, you may not like the guy, but you have to respect his ring work and the effort that he puts into that ring, also in his business. So,
Yeah, you don't have to like somebody personally or be a fan of somebody personally, but you still have to give credit where it's due. Like if they do something that's impressive and to show that they're talented or whatnot, you have to give props. And if you refuse to give props because of those personal feelings, that's a bitch ass move. All right, but anyway, yeah. So the match goes on, and yeah, John Cena's gonna do the FU. I still call it the FU to Cody Rhodes
same.
on the announce table, but then Jey Uso spears Cena on the announce table. The table did not
Didn't even
break.
break.
Yeah, that surprised
Surprise.
me. And then yeah,
Yeah,
Logan Paul did that springboard moonsault to Jey Uso through the announce table, and
that
yeah, that
broke.
was rough. Yeah, that was rough.
That broke. Logan Paul was kind of like, well, damn. That didn't break. Well, let me do some sort of breaking, and it did. So,
Yeah, big time. But imagine if that spot went like the way the Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle spot went at WrestleMania 21.
oh my God. Yeah, I look back at that now 20 years ago. I was like, how did that not break?
Yeah, it
Did they
was
have the
insane.
intentions of trying to break that one? If not, I don't know. I never asked myself that question.
Well, it
That's
definitely
funny.
broke. It definitely broke at WrestleMania 24, and probably broke Shawn Michaels' ribs too.
It did.
Yeah, it was rough, but that's another
Yeah,
story. But
it
yeah,
did.
the table definitely broke in this spot right here. And then Cena and Cody Rhodes are in the ring. And then Cena, up to his cheating tactics, has the WWE title in his hand and he lays out Cody Rhodes with it. But then out of nowhere, a dude with a hoodie jumps into the ring and starts attacking Cena and start punching him down. And
Yeah.
out, the dude under the hoodie is none other than our
Then
truth.
our truth. And oh my God, as soon as he took that mask off, the Intuit Dome erupted. I know everybody, you didn't have to be there to erupt. I know everybody at home that was watching erupted. And Kurt, I bet everybody at the bar where you're watching at erupted.
Oh yeah, everybody lost their damn mind. They were mainly losing their damn mind for Jey Uso yeeting the whole damn time. Hell, they were doing it even before he came out. But yeah, when
Yeah,
our truth came out, yo, the place went crazy, son.
I
Yeah,
went
it was
crazy.
so great. It was probably the highlight of the whole match, honestly, for him to come out that way. And then he
Yeah.
proceeds to lay out John Cena with the WWE title belt. And that would lead to Cody Rhodes laying out John Cena's punk ass with the crossroads. And then Cody Rhodes got the pin and the win for himself and Jey Uso and for all of society because Logan Paul was on the opposing team.
But man, anyway, let's go back to our truth though, man. Unexpected. When literally we were talking about how, it's sad that he's gone, and and this the contract situation, and this happens, and just they literally just the business literally just pulled the wool over our eyes in this sequence, man. And hey, I love it.
Yeah, it was a great surprise. It was a great way to end the show. And yeah, it really put that tag team match over the top. Without that and without Logan Paul's performance, that match would have been average. But those two
Right.
things really, made it stand out. And overall,
Yep.
yes, a very good Money in the Bank show. And we got the return of R-Truth at the end of it. Would have never
Yes.
seen that coming into this
Nope.
match.
I would never even guess who it was before he took his mask off. I was like, wait, who is this guy? Is this a new guy? Is this
I was
some dude
almost
from
I was
NXT? Or like, who is this?
I was almost thinking it was that Jesus dude that was Carlito's bodyguard back in the
Oh,
day.
stop it. God almighty. Jesus.
That lasted all of 2 months.
Jeez. Huh?
That lasted all of 2 months.
The feud? Yeah. Yeah, it
That
did.
character, that character disappeared
Oh, the
after their
character.
match.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying that whole feud and storyline lasted that long, dude. I was like, damn.
2004 SmackDown was very weird, but yeah, that's another story. So yes, R-Truth is officially back. It came out afterwards that he has re-signed with WWE under a new deal, and
Yeah.
people were starting to speculate and talk about whether or not his release and his contract expiring was all a work or something
Mm,
they just did to fool us so we could get this big surprise. But I think we all know that it was not a work. It was not a part of a storyline. He really was released. But because of all the fan backlash and all the backlash from all the people who've worked with him and known him over the years, that forced WWE into giving him a new deal.
Nick Khan was the one who kind of like initiated it.
Yeah, apparently WWE tried to get him to resign, but then he kind of refused. I guess maybe as a power play, maybe. And then Nick Khan eventually stepped in to handle the negotiations, and that's when they came to an agreement.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm happy for the dude. And yo, this
Same.
really shows that people's voices, like if they, make enough noise and if they demand something hard enough, in this case, you can make things happen. Yeah, I would have never guessed in a million years, like for R-Truth to get released, that the fan backlash and the backlash from the people that work with him would be so strong that WWE would have no choice but to re-sign him. It's crazy,
Exactly.
man.
And hey, this is going to benefit
Crazy.
them in the end, trust me. And you talk about, you go back to the fan, backlash and, and the reception, and everything. Let's just hope this is the same how, the NBA does the same thing with the finals. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing this every year during the finals. Put the Larry O'Brien trophy logo back on the court. Bring back the starting lineups and all that stuff. And then you're hearing more and more about this. And then officially they announced that they're going to do that next year for the finals. I was like, well, shit, you shouldn't have ended in the first place.
Yeah, and I'm so happy for R-Truth because people always speak so highly of him, say how great of a guy he is, how he always makes the vibe in the room better just by being there. And yeah, I'm just so happy for the dude at this stage in his career. He's getting another chance. Even his son put out a tweet afterwards saying "Congrats, Dad, on one last run." And Triple H talked about it in the press conference because they were asking him about it afterwards, and he basically said "Just enjoy the show, just keep watching the show."
Hmm. Not the right response that you expected from him.
I don't know. I mean, apparently, I heard it was his decision to, let him go because he does have some say in it. But I
Yeah, I
mean,
heard I heard a rumor that he wasn't really happy about Nick Khan initiating him, bringing him back.
well, I say this: if he really is about the people, if he really is about doing what's best for what the people want and the people's interest, considering the backlash that came out of R-Truth's release, that's what's best for the people. And also best for R-Truth himself, which we'll get into in a few minutes with his appearance on Raw last night.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a new beginning, bro. This is a brand new beginning for him. Yeah, I feel like it's definitely a switch in tide for demands from fans, demands from the people who work backstage. If you could make that much noise and make that much of an impact, you can force their hand and force them to do things that they would maybe not want to do otherwise.
true, very true. I agree.
Yeah, so I'm so happy that it worked out this way. I'm so happy that he's back. And yeah, it's just a crazy scenario where 1 week we're talking about the dude being released and how much he's
Hmm.
contributed and how sad it is, and then 1 week later he's back under a new deal and pretty
Yeah,
much under a new identity in a sense.
Yeah, which we'll get into later. But this is so crazy how this happened all within a week.
Yeah, I'm happy that it happened though. Like I'm really
Wow.
grateful for the
Yeah.
dude, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to seeing where this last run goes for him. And yeah, just nothing else, nothing, not enough good things you can say about this whole scenario.
Yeah. Just
I,
everybody was just all over it, and you can't be surprised about that, man. And he's a great guy, and then that what happened. It's like, man, he doesn't deserve that. You know what I mean? Look, nobody deserves to get released, right? But when you look at our truth, and guys are kind of like our truth, you're kind of like, he doesn't deserve that, man. That the work that he put in, even though it was a comedic role, it's like, man, he doesn't deserve that. And that's why we're sad about it. Of all people, he was released. Wow.
yeah,
You
I've
know.
never seen fan backlash or like backstage people backlash or other wrestlers backlash for like a release any stronger than for him. And that says a
Yeah.
lot. That says a lot about the kind of person he is and what he
Yep.
contributed for like that amount of backlash and for it to result in him getting re-signed. That says a lot about the
Hmm.
dude's character.
Yeah. Imagine like 30 years ago, right? 30 plus years ago. I guarantee you there was a certain somebody who was very liked in the backstage who got got released. I guarantee you there was social media back then and they did the same thing. What a difference that would have made. You know what I mean? With certain wrestlers back then, I guess.
Yeah, very possible. But R-Truth is back. And from what we saw in Raw last night, better than ever. And speaking
Yes.
of Raw last night, let's dive in head first into last night's Raw that took place from Phoenix, Arizona. And it was like over
Ooh, it was
100
hot over
degrees.
there.
Yeah, I heard it was like over 100
107. Good God.
degrees there last
107.
night. Yeah, I always heard Phoenix is like Vegas, but without the strip and all the party life.
It's just hotter there than Vegas. Phoenix is a nice place. I heard a lot of good things about Phoenix. I want to go there still, though. But
I,
yeah, Phoenix is a little bit hotter than Vegas. It's hot here, but yeah, it's always hotter in Arizona. My God, I don't know how people live there.
honestly, one of the main things that kind of like made me see Phoenix a little differently, and made me see that it's kind of like maybe a dope place, is the movie Waiting to Exhale.
I knew you were gonna bring that up, Lord
Yeah,
G.
I was watching that movie once, and like it's like based in Phoenix, and I'm seeing all the
I
different
know
scenery and the different scenes. I'm like, yo, Phoenix doesn't look bad. Yo, Phoenix looks
it
pretty
doesn't.
solid.
No, it doesn't. Yeah.
All right, but anyway, so yeah, we had Raw last night take place from Phoenix, Arizona, and the show opened with John Cena coming out in Phoenix Suns colors, which kind of
Uh,
surprised me.
uh, uh. I'm
Are you
surprised the
still mad?
gorilla. I'm surprised the gorilla didn't come out there with him.
Are you still salty about the 2006 playoffs when the Suns beat the Lakers in the first round?
No, because the Suns didn't even make the finals that year.
We're close.
It doesn't matter. They didn't even make it. Steve Nash won MVP that year, and they still didn't even make the finals.
Yeah, he won MVP 2 years in a row, and neither year resulted in
God.
a finals appearance.
Ay.
All right, but that's another story. So yeah, John Cena comes out in Phoenix Suns colors, and then he talks about like the whole R-Truth scenario for Money in the Bank, and how like you guys like pouted and cried to get somebody back whose like best claim to fame in his career was impersonating me.
Oh my God.
And then he's
Just
doing his little yeah.
just the
Go ahead.
nonsense that comes out of that man's mouth. My God. Like, what the what is jeez.
It feels
I
like
just
forced
don't
nonsense.
for real, and I just don't understand how like you're a heel, but yet every city you go to, you want to like, I want to wear the city's colors and all that stuff. I'm like, bro, why do you care? You tell us we get nothing, but yet you're wearing like, for example, like SmackDown, right? I loved how he's wearing the Laker colors because they're in the forum. The day after at Money in the Bank, he wears LA Rams colors. You know what I mean? So I just like, I just like, Cena, what are you doing, bro? Like, you're a heel. You're like, you get nothing, but yet you're wearing the colors of each city you go to. I don't know, but
Yeah, he's gonna be rocking a Patrick Ewing jersey the next time he comes back to Madison Square Garden, like circa WrestleMania 20.
mm.
He's gonna bring it back. Yeah, so Cena comes out. He's like cutting his little promo. He's doing his little countdown about how many dates he has left. Now it's coming down to like 19 dates.
19. Yep.
Yeah, but then in the middle of this, he is interrupted by none other than CM Punk.
Yes. Yes.
Yo, I
Yes.
couldn't. Yo, I was
Yes.
so amped when I heard his music, and when he came out, I'm like, yo, this is gonna be good.
It
First time we seen
finally
these,
happened.
the first time we seen these two go back and forth on the mic since 2013,
Yes. It
give or
finally
take.
happened. I've been just waiting and waiting for this moment to come, and it finally happened. Finally face to face in that ring. Oh, it brought me back. It brought me back. One of my favorite rivalries in this business is CM Punk and John Cena.
Yeah, by far one of the best rivalries in the last, I would say, 15 years. One of the
Yes.
best, pretty much of all time. Probably Cena's best rivalry, probably next to Edge, I'd say.
Yeah, I agree. And probably the rivalry that literally sparked pretty much gave that shot the business needed that year in 2011.
Yeah, this really saved WWE during that time. Was
Yeah.
the Punk pipe bomb in the Summer of Punk and the feud with Cena? Yeah, that really
Mhm.
did wonders for them during that time.
Yeah. But um but yeah, it was time. Look, you if anybody could go head to head with John Cena on the mic, it's CM Punk.
Oh yes, and he did in a major way here, talking about how like I'm just a spin on the wheel. I always have been, and I understand that, but I'm gonna show you that you're just a spin on the wheel too. And the way I'm gonna prove that is by taking that championship away from you.
Yeah. I loved how he mentioned, and me and you and a lot of other real wrestling fans that have been, in the trenches for a long time knows exactly what he's talking about. I loved how he mentioned how like he was challenging John Cena for the title, but he was pretty much telling him, make your decision. Are you going to be Boston Red Sox or New York Yankees? When he said that, I was like, oh my god, I love that.
Yeah, he
I
was.
love I love that. It went back to the contract. Well, no, not it went to that night when they're in Boston before Money in the Bank, when Vince McMahon was going to offer him a new contract, and literally Punk was telling Cena that you're no longer the underdog. You literally are a dynasty because of who you are and what you've done now. You're no longer the Red Sox. You are who you hate. You are the New York Yankees. And I was like, oh my god, that was like so deep. Well, when he said that, but it was true, and he said it again, and I loved it.
Yeah, he was talking about also how he was never wanting to win the title back when he came back last year because he knew what being the champion would do to him. It like turned him into a monster back in 2012. But now that he sees what it's doing to John Cena and how it's corrupting him, he realized he needs to become a monster himself in order to kill that monster. That
Yeah.
was also a creative line.
Hmm.
And then he started like,
Very good.
he started like hitting the belt really hard and kind of like tugging at Cena like in the middle of it too. Yeah, this is getting intense. And he said he was like challenging Cena. He made basically mentioned saying, yeah, you have 19 dates left, and I'm gonna let you pick out of those 19 dates which one you want for me to take the title from you on.
Yeah. And Cena was like, look, we'll do it, but not tonight. We'll do it at
Yeah,
Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
I
It's
knew it.
typical heel stuff. You know what I mean? That's every heel champion does it. It was like, look, I'll face you, but not tonight. No, not tonight. We'll do it
Yeah,
at
like
this night.
and the fans cheering like they're actually gonna get the match like then and there. I'm like, you guys are already
you
getting.
you're already getting a world title match later tonight. Look, how
Yeah,
spoiled do you get, man? Come on.
yeah, come on
Ay.
now. Yeah, and he said, if you want the title, you're gonna have to follow me to Saudi Arabia, and that's gonna be made, and it's been made official since then. It's gonna be Cena and Punk at Night of Champions on June 28th in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and this will mark CM Punk's first time wrestling on one of the Sweet Saudi Money shows.
Yes. And funny how he said, follow. You're going to follow me to Saudi Arabia. So, yeah, you're going to follow me on my magic carpet to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's an ultimate heel move because like Punk has always kind of refused to be a part of those shows, and that like spoken out against them over the years, and now he's gonna
Oh,
finally be a part of
I
it.
didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Did he mention this when he was with AEW, or like just Maybe.
I think there was this one tweet where like Miz kind of like mocked Punk about that show he was on, that backstage show he was on Fox Sports for a while. He talked about
Oh,
something about like switching up the culture, something along those lines, kind of like mocking Punk. And then Punk responded saying, "Go suck a blood sucking," or like nah, he said like, "Go suck a bloodthirsty, money hungry Saudi dick, you asshole," something along those lines.
dang.
I mean, they've squashed it since then, but like, yeah, he said that in a tweet once. And then I think the last Saudi show they did in October, he like took time off after the Hell in a Cell with McIntyre. He was like on from
Yeah.
TV for a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently, I guess he's had like some issues with the political stuff going on there. I know Bryan Danielson's been the same way too, so it makes sense. But now, for whatever reason, he's going to be a part of this one and going
You,
against John Cena for the title.
you know what's crazy? The
Hmm.
last time these two faced each other for the title at Night of Champions was in 2012 in Boston.
Oh yes, where Punk wore the Yankees stripes.
Pinstripe.
Yankees.
He look, dude. CM Punk, top three, like literally top three. He's my one of my top three favorite wrestling attire because I love how creative he gets with his threads. I love his threads. Like it tells a story. Um, especially of where he's at or whatever. Like I love the Bret Hart threads that he wore at SummerSlam 2012. I love that. I love the Yankee pinstripes threads that he wore because they were in Boston and he was being, pretty much he was the heel, but he was pretty much being the villain in enemy territory. I love that. Um, man, he has so many good like the Undertaker threads he wore at WrestleMania 29. If you caught on to that, it was purple
Yeah, I
and
did.
black and gray. Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the best, bro. And we're gonna get Cena and Punk at Night of Champions. It's kind of a weird place for them to have their first match against each other in 12 years, but I'll
Hmm.
take it. I was kind of hoping they would
Hell
wait for
yeah.
it until some. I was kind of hoping they would wait until SummerSlam, but like seeing that they're doing this
Yeah.
match now, I think they're
Yeah.
gonna probably do Cena and Cody in a rematch at SummerSlam.
Yeah. But
Kind of
hey,
the
I
vibe I'm
don't care
getting.
about where. I'm glad that they're doing it again, and I wanted them to do it again. I was like, you have to look if you're gonna do John Cena versus Randy Orton for one last time, you have to do John Cena versus CM Punk. And you know what even bothers me now that I think about it, if Edge was still in the company, they would have did John Cena versus Edge this year. You know
Yeah,
they
they
would
could
have
have.
done it. You
Yeah, they
know they
definitely could
would
have.
have.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. But Edge is in AEW right now, coping with
Ah,
whatever he's going through.
cope.
But it is what it is. We're getting Cena and Punk one last time, and this is the
Mm.
main match Cena needed to do before he turns babyface again.
Yeah. You know what? The right person for him to like, all right, after this, I'm turning babyface, will be with R-Truth. I think R-Truth needs to be in this situation where like I gotta humble John Cena to the point where Cena's like, you know what? I gotta turn babyface now. That's how I see it.
He could be his Mr. Miyagi.
What?
Like when Daniel got down the wrong path in Karate Kid 3,
Oh,
Mr. Miyagi was there
oh,
to
my bad. Yeah.
guide him
Okay.
back in the right
Oh,
direction.
right. Okay.
Still a bad movie, but you get my drift.
Yeah.
All right, but yes, we're getting Cena and Punk at Night of Champions. Cannot freaking wait. But
Yeah.
as this segment was going on, at the end of it, Seth Rollins came out with the Money in the Bank and like held it up, basically teasing the fact that he could cash it in at any time. And I gotta be honest,
Yeah.
some
That
Rollins
was
in that,
it.
yeah, like Rollins in that green suit, the way he was looking like Tony Montana's henchman or like one of them, with the way he was
Hey,
like
I
rocking
like
that up.
his suit that he was wearing. With all the wacky stuff that he's wearing, there were certain things I was like, you know what? I dig that. I dig what he's wearing. I love that. I'll wear that, but not green though, but in a different color though. But I dig that. But yeah, I thought it was just weird because I thought like, oh, I thought Seth Rollins was gonna like cut a promo too though, but no, that was it. I was like, oh, he was just teasing. I was like, okay,
Yeah, but still a good segment regardless. Yeah, I really
yes,
enjoyed this segment between these two. A perfect way to start the show. And then as the show progressed, we had AJ Styles defeat Chad Gable in a really solid match. And yo, Chad Gable was banged up. He had like tape on his arm. He had like
of
tape on his leg, I
course.
think. Yeah, he was banged up from the weekend he
Of
had.
course. Come on now. He was in a brutal Money in the Bank ladder match. He took one hell of a spear from Braun Breaker. Oh yeah, I was surprised he didn't look all bandaged up like Squidward when he got stung by those jellyfish.
Yeah, I don't know if he was banged up from like those matches he had, or if he hung out with the crew from The Hangover over the weekend. Yeah, because you know those dudes. If you hang out with them, you're gonna be walking away with injuries for days.
Right.
All right, but anyway, yeah, AJ Styles defeated Chad Gable in a solid match. And also, what was revealed during Money in the Bank is this year we're going to be having the King and Queen of the Ring tournament this year.
Yes. And when I saw the tournament tree, right? It was a bit weird because see, all right, so all of them, all the categories, right? Both for the men and the women, they're all fatal four ways in the first round. I was like, what? I was like, they're doing a fatal four way. But I was like, oh, I was looking at the timing. Oh, the Night of Champions is literally like what a couple weeks away, so they need to speed up the process with their matches and all that. I was like, oh, I get it. That first round fatal four way, and then you're in your semifinal. I was like, oh, I get it. I was like, okay, makes sense.
Yeah, so we're going to have the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments taking place over the next few weeks, with the finals for both the men's and the women's taking place at Night of Champions. And the winner of both tournaments get to face the champion of their respective brand for the title at SummerSlam.
Yes, same stipulation, just like last year. I was wondering if they were going to do the same stipulation. They did. Good. I love it.
Yes. And in the first of the women's first round matches, we had a four-way between Rhea Bloody Ripley, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, and Kairi Sane. And yo, this is a good ass match, son. Good
It
ass
was
match.
a lot of near falls. My goodness.
And the main story coming out of it was Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez kind of teaming up together throughout it. Because like backstage before the match, like Roxanne was trying to get on Liv Morgan's good side, but Liv Morgan wasn't having it. But then during the match, they were teaming up. It was going well. And then eventually Rhea Ripley did have the match won until Raquel Rodriguez's fine ass came through and pulled her out of the ring. So the two of them started brawling. And then they were fighting outside of the ring, and then all of a sudden, Kairi Sane jumped off the top rope and hit the insane elbow onto all of them, knocked them all down. And then Kairi Sane hit Liv Morgan with the insane elbow, and she had the match won. But then Roxanne Perez interrupted the count, and then she rolled up Kairi Sane and pinned her herself to win the match and advance in the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Good for her.
Genius finish, genius
Yes.
way to end this match.
Yeah. Good for her though, man. She needed this, man. She
I
needed this.
liked
This
what,
is good.
yeah, I liked what happened backstage afterwards with like when Finn and Dominic were like standing together with JD McDonough. Then Roxanne Perez came through, and then Finn was like congratulating her, and then like Finn was trying to get Dominic to congratulate her, and then Dominic was like, "Oh, you did good out there, congratulations." And then right when he said that, Liv Morgan shows up.
Oh, it's always at the bad time. Oh, at the
Oh,
worst time.
and you know this is gonna build more tension between Liv and Roxanne because of the fact that
Of
even though Roxanne
course.
kept Liv from being pinned, she won the match herself.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah, so it's gonna get spicy between all these damn people, and I'm here all for it. Get that vegan
Exactly.
popcorn ready. And then we move on to the men's qualifying match. We had a four-way between Dominic Mysterio, Braun Breaker, Sami Zayn, and Penta.
I love this match.
Oh, crazy ass match. My best friend
Yeah.
El Rahmani, he was watching it with me last night. He was pretty impressed by some of the moves he saw,
Hmm.
especially Braun Breaker's Frankensteiner and Penta's Mexican Destroyer.
Oh, yeah, I love the Mexican Destroyer.
Oh,
That's a
such a
lethal
great
move. Love
move.
that move. Yeah.
Yeah, but this match was pretty wild and crazy, and it got to the point where Braun Breaker at one point was attacked outside the ring by LA Knight, one of the men he had attacked
Yes.
during the Money in the Bank ladder match, and LA Knight laid him out outside the ring with a blunt force trauma after Braun Breaker had speared Penta. And then this allowed Sami Zayn to take advantage of Dominic and hit him with a huluva kick to get the win, and Sami Zayn advances in the tournament.
Man, that came out of nowhere. And you know what? It's not a surprise that LA Knight attacked Braun Breaker, man, because of all that chaos that happened on
Yeah.
Saturday. And but yeah, I was hearing rumors that eventually, potentially, that LA Knight is going to get drafted to Raw. And if it is true, hey, I'm all for it because this right here, we're sparking a feud between LA Knight and Braun Breaker, and I love it. I'm all for it if it happens.
Yeah, it's something new for him to do. It's something fresh. It's a fresh show, fresh people to work with. Yeah, if this means that he's moving to Raw, I'm all for it too. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Sami Zayn and Roxanne Perez both advanced, and we have other qualifying matches coming in the next few weeks. And also, we had the new Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch celebrating her cheap win over Lyra Valkyria,
Oh,
and trying to make a case for herself about how like she was trying to be the bigger woman, trying to be the better woman, the inspirational woman, and then Lyra just attacked her, trying to act like the victim.
I mean, wait a minute. Now she had the well. I mean, come on. Now she
You
she
can't even
lost the
come up with
match.
an
She had
excuse. You can't even come up with an excuse yourself. You're struggling.
no. I'm listen. She had her end of the bargain. Okay, that was the deal. You won the match. Raise my hand. All over. Fair. So stated her case.
Okay, but yeah, Becky was getting like all into this, and then Lyra came out to interrupt, and Lyra was furious. She was hot, but as Lyra
Oh,
was walking towards the ring, out of nowhere, Bayley shows up and attacks Becky from behind,
yes.
starts beating her
Yes.
ass, and Lyra's like all
Yes.
surprised. Like Lyra's all like surprised looking at all this go down, and then Becky's trying to run away, but then she throws Becky back into the ring, and then Bayley starts beating her down some more, and then Bayley tries to hit her with the rose plant, but then Becky finds a way to escape, runs out of the ring, and then Bayley like stands on the top rope, talking shit to her. And yeah, Lyra looked confused throughout all of this. So it's great that
Yeah.
Bayley's back, but from what I saw from this, it's
Oh
looking like
hell
we're gonna
yeah.
get. But from what we
Triple
saw from
threat.
this, yeah, it's looking like we're gonna get a three-way program.
And you know what else it shows? This shows that the fact that Bayley attacked Becky Lynch, that it shows that Becky Lynch was the one who took out Bayley prior to WrestleMania.
Becky already admitted that weeks ago.
Oh, maybe I missed. Okay, damn, I missed that part.
Yeah,
But
Becky. This isn't Jade Cargill's attack from a couple months ago. Yeah, Becky already admitted it. So yeah, of course Bayley was gonna come for that ass.
mm-hmm. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
this
I'm
is
looking
definitely heading towards a triple threat at Night of Champions, though. So I love.
or
It's great to see Bayley back.
And it was great to see back as our truth is literally right after this. Michael Cole and Wade Barrett were talking at the announce table. Then all of a sudden, the dude in the hoodie from Money in the Bank showed up again at the announce table, and it was revealed once again to be our truth. And then he stands on the announce table, talks about how like you shouldn't let anyone ever tell you that your voice doesn't matter or that you can't make a difference. And he like thanks the crowd for voicing their frustrations for his behalf. And then he talks about how our truth is great, but our truth is too nice. He's too forgiving, but not me. And he talks about people like playing out his name or like doubting him or treating him as a fool. And then as he's getting into this, he literally takes out a pair of scissors. I thought he was going to be on some Ricochet shit when he took out the pair of scissors, but
Huh.
he wasn't doing it to be violent. He was doing it to cut off his braids.
Cut off his braids and to
Oh
reveal that
shit.
I'm no longer our truth. I'm Ron Killings now.
I am Ron Killings. I am the whole truth and nothing but the truth. And you better respect and put some respect on my name. Oh
Right.
man. Oh man,
Hey,
son. I gotta
we're
say,
on a
in the all the years he's been in WWE, from his first run as K Quick to the last 17 years, that is the best thing I have ever seen him do.
the best promo he ever did. And
Oh,
I remember seeing a video, I think it was in his early TNA days, and how I was watching this segment and I was like, oh my God, why is he not like that? And he was very serious. You could take this dude very seriously. I mean, he was a former TNA world champion, right? And I was just watching his promo. I was like, oh my God, why can't he be like that? You know what I mean? Like, damn it, the business needs to be looking at this footage and be like, yo, this is the version of our truth that they need, and we're getting it. This is good for him. We're gonna get a more serious our truth now. This is what the our truth that you know most wrestling fans need. Like we've seen the whole comedic role for the longest time, but hey, we gotta change it up, man. And I love it. We're on to
Yeah,
something big, and we're on to something big, man.
yeah, it was great. Like he was just so menacing, so convincing. I just like heard him talk the whole time, and I was just into it from start to finish. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
why did you not ever let this dude do this years ago? Like, yo, this dude can talk. This dude is like
Mhm.
very captivating. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, he's good at the comedy stuff. Don't get me wrong, he's good at that. But like, yo, in all these years, you could not have let him do this just once.
Hey, they're doing it now, and it goes back to
Yeah,
what I was saying just now. He was doing this in his early TNA days, and I said to myself, like, this was before he got released, right? And I was saying to myself, like, damn, why are they not doing this? Do you know how much? Do you know like the the momentum that he could have if he goes to this character? Don't get me wrong, like you said, man. The comedic stuff was cool and all, but like, no, this right here, this is him. This is what he needs to do, and guess what? He's doing it now, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen in the future, man. Cannot wait.
yeah. Just that visual of him cutting his hair like on live TV in the middle of his promo. Like, when have you ever seen that done before?
Never.
Yeah, it shit was crazy. You could even see the people's reactions in the crowd. They were shocked.
Yeah, they're like, what? They're like, what? They're shocked. Like, what is he doing? And all that stuff. And he's like, look, man, look, I did the whole comedic role and all that stuff for the longest time, and it was cool and all. But no, I got to do something different, man. I gotta no.
Yeah, maybe this was a part of his negotiations when he re-signed with them that he would be able to go by the
Hell
Ron
yeah,
Killings name.
good, good. It's time for a change. It's time for a change.
Good, and I'm happy to see it, man. Like, yo, that segment with him last night was gold. That's like I said, that's the best thing I've ever seen him do in WWE in all the years he's been there.
Yep. Can't wait for it, man. This
Incredible.
is this is gonna be good, man. He's really gonna be pushed now.
Yeah,
Watch.
I think I see another movie. I think I see another rematch with John Cena down the line,
Oh
possibly
yeah.
some other good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this new era for Ron Killings. It's going to be great. If
Yep.
last night's any indication.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also had Nikki Bella making her return to WWE since they were in Arizona. She's also from Scottsdale, Arizona. It's not Phoenix, but it's still Arizona nonetheless. She came
Not too
out.
far.
Yeah, came out, got a nice reaction. This was her first appearance since the Royal Rumble. And she came out to reveal that WWE will be doing the Evolution show next month in Atlanta, July 13th.
Yeah, I figured that that was a whole reason that for her to be there to announce the second annual Evolution premium live event for the women, which is good, which is awesome. They did very great the first time, and yeah, she got a little backlash for pronouncing Stephanie Valkyra's last name wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have an issue with pronouncing it sometimes also, but yeah, that one was really butchered big time.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, come on. When was the last time she cut? Like, it's been a long time since she, cut a segment in the ring. So
Yeah,
come
she's
on.
talking. Yeah, she's talking about like how she main evented the first Evolution show with Ronda Rousey, and talking about like all the women of today, like Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca, etc. But then in the middle of this, Liv Morgan comes out to interrupt, like pissed off, like I've never seen her pissed off before, talking about how you need to mention me when you mention the greatest women of this era. You need to mention my name and put some respect on it. And like she gets in her
Mm.
face and she's talking about how like unlike you, I'm a champion, I have respect, and I have a man too.
Oof.
That was great. Referring
I
to a
know.
divorce.
Oh.
Yeah, so then like Nikki's talking about how like she meant no disrespect and how like she can understand why Liv's mad because of the fact that she just lost, but then she says that she's confused because you say you have a man, but is he your man or is he Roxanne's man?
Ooh.
And then she says, make sure to congratulate Roxanne for me for taking your win away and also taking your man away. And then as she's leaving the ring, Liv Morgan says the money line, saying, you can say all you want about me, but I'm still a champion and you'll always be nothing more than a reality show diva.
Got her
So
on
then
that
I,
one.
Yeah, so then obviously this sets off Nikki Bella, so she tries to come back in the ring. But as she tries to come back in the ring, Liv Morgan lays her reality diva ass out with the Oblivion. And yo, the crowd went wild when she did that. I know I lost my damn mind when that happened.
I know. I kind of get a feeling what we're gonna get at Evolution.
Yeah, this is gonna be good, yo. I really like this segment. And in all
Yeah.
honesty, Liv Morgan smoked her in this. Liv Morgan's
Of
intensity,
course.
her passion, yo, she was killing it.
Oh yeah.
Like I've said before, I was concerned about like whether or not she'd be able to maintain her momentum after she lost the title. But yo, if anything, she's
Oh
gotten
no.
better since. If anything, she's gotten better since she's lost the title a couple months
Yeah,
ago.
of course. I mean, I wasn't really worried about her when she lost the title. I kind of knew that she was going to stay afloat, and she's staying afloat due to the fact that you're the women's tag team champion with Raquel Rodriguez, and now this, and then also with Roxanne Perez getting involved between you and Dominic Mysterio. Oh yeah, she's perfect,
Yeah,
perfect.
and she was just great on the mic in this segment. And if anything,
Yeah,
if they wanted to make Liv Morgan the heel and Nikki Bella the babyface in the storyline, that did not work. That did not work because I know, speaking for myself, there is no way in hell I'm cheering for Nikki Bella over Liv Morgan.
oh yeah, especially with the oh yeah. Woo.
So I'm thinking it could go either one or two ways. It could be either Liv and Nikki in a one-on-one match at Evolution, or it could be Liv and Raquel defending the tag titles against Nikki and Brie at Evolution.
That's what I'm seeing. I'm going with option B because I mean it wouldn't make any sense if you just do one on one. You can just leave Raquel Rodriguez out at an event where it's for the women. You know what I mean? So you want to get Raquel Rodriguez involved, not just outside but also in the match. So I feel like doing a tag team match is perfect. It's better than doing one on one.
I'm good with either scenario, and it's funny enough. It was Brie Bella who actually gave. It's funny enough. It's actually Brie Bella who gave Liv Morgan that concussion all those years ago during that six-woman tag. It was an accident, but she was like doing the Brian Danielson kicks, and then one of the kicks she hit her really hard in the head.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah, like Brie Bella got like a lot of negative backlash for that. Yeah,
Wow.
like really became a big thing.
Okay.
Maybe they could do a callback to that. I would not surprise me if they did.
I wouldn't be surprised though, but I feel like if you do a tag team match, I think that'd be better because you could bring back the Bella twins. You know what I mean? You look at that aspect. You got to remember, despite of the personal backlash that Nikki's been receiving, though, you got to remember as a tag team, the Bella twins, they're very, they're still likable, back in the day, and still are. That will be a treat to have them both to come back at that event at Evolution.
Hey, look, I'll say this myself. Like the Bellas were never really my favorites per se, but I realized that they had star
They're a
power
fan
and it did
favorite.
have.
Yeah,
Hmm?
they're always a
I
fan
re-
favorite.
yeah, I realized they had star power. I realized that they did have a lot to offer, and yeah, bringing them back for like the Evolution show to do a tag team match like this, yo, I'm all for it. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it'll be great for the event.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we'll see what they build towards that in the next few weeks. But in last night's main event, we had a rematch from WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship as we had Jey Uso with his son in his corner, who came out and did his
Yes.
entrance with him, defending the World Heavyweight title against the Ring General, Gunther.
Yeah, great entrance by Jey Uso coming out with his son. I wish they would have did that for WrestleMania, if I'm being quite honest with you, though. But it is what it is. But yeah, great entrance, and man, this match, Gunther literally kind of. It was a little bit back and forth though, but man, you're looking at this match, man, the whole vibe and looked like Gunther was just dominating this match, man, and you could just tell, like, bro, is Gunther gonna win this match? It looked like he's just look. He meant what he said, that title belongs to me. And it's coming back to me, and he was literally showing Jey Uso and the whole world what he meant.
Yeah, Jey Uso's like ribs were taped up from like the attack from
Oh
Logan Paul
yeah,
at Night of
yeah,
Champions. Also I'm sorry, from
yeah.
Money in the Bank. Also the attack from Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker last week. So yeah, the story of this
Hmm.
match is basically that he was banged up, his ribs were taped up, and he
Yeah.
wasn't 100.
Yep.
percent And Gunther took
Mm.
advantage of it through the majority of the match. But Jey Uso
Yep.
came back and eventually hit Gunther with a spear and the top rope splash. But even with all that, Gunther still kicked
Wasn't
out.
enough. It wasn't
Yeah.
enough. Even Gunther, this surprised me, Kurt. Even Gunther speared Jey Uso. He uses Jey Uso's own spear, and he speared Jey Uso. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, he used Jey Uso's spear, and then Jey Uso used the sleeper on him again, but it did not get
Yeah,
him to tap out like it did at WrestleMania. And then
no.
Gunther eventually trapped Jey Uso in the sleeper himself, got him down on the mat,
A lot of
and
counters. It was at one point, Gunther had Jey Uso in his spirit, and you look like Jey Uso was about to, look like I was like, this is it, and then he counters it, and then he does a sleeper on Gunther, and Gunther gets out of it, and he finally gets the sleeper on Jey Uso, and then, dude, when I saw that, I was like, dude, there's this, I just knew it was over. Like, there's just no way.
I just said to myself when it happened at that point, like when Gunther had him in the sleeper, I just said, it
Yeah,
can't end this way. It's not going to end this way, is it? It's not, there's no way that Gunther's going to just win the
part
title
of
back
me,
like that. And then
yeah,
lo and behold, Jey
it
Uso
happened.
passes out from the sleeper. The referee stops the match, and Gunther regains the world heavyweight title.
It just when I saw that, look, I don't know. It's probably just with Gunther in his matches. Like when he does that sleeper, I in the back of my mind, I'm like already like, yeah, it's over. Just looking at their opponent physically, like when you go back to his match against Pat McAfee, and I was just like, yeah. The first time he had on the sleeper, I was like, okay, no. Second time, third time, you're like, yeah, it's it. There's no way. There's just no way. And that's the feeling that I got when I watched this match. When I saw that sequence, it was kind of like a part of me was like, dude, he can't. This is no. Jey Uso's not going to lose. Come on. And I saw that and I was like, oh my god, yeah, it's over. But
Yeah,
I was shocked. And
yeah, this was a huge surprise. I did not see this coming from a mile away. Like when they
yeah,
signed this match a month ago for like a Raw, like the Raw after Money in the Bank, I thought
yeah,
Jey Uso was going to retain, or there would be
yeah,
some kind of angle, possibly a Money in the Bank cash in.
yeah.
But no, Gunther
Nope.
just wins the title back clean, fair and
Clean.
square, just like that.
And look, I'm not going to take anything away from Gunther. First of all, let's congratulate Gunther for regaining the World Heavyweight Championship for the second time, right? Great champion. This is my takeaway from this match on Jey Uso's part. Listen to this, Kurt. Ever since he's been a singles competitor, he has held two titles. He held the Intercontinental title and, of course, the World Heavyweight Championship. His Intercontinental Championship reign, Kurt, was only what?
A
Was it
month.
32 days?
You think a month? Yeah, like a month or so.
Yeah. His World Heavyweight Championship reign, Kurt, was only 51 days.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I thought he was going to be the champion until at least SummerSlam, but he didn't even
Yeah,
make it that far.
exactly. And then when I see this, Kurt, it concerns me because it's like him, them taking the title off of Jey Uso like this soon. It kind of shows, is there like a lack of confidence that the company sees in him? Don't get me wrong. He gets the fan appreciation and everything is just, it's above top tier. It is though. But when I say confidence, like mic skills. We have talked about that too. How about his mic skills gotten a little bit repetitive when, especially when he's talking to Gunther in the ring. You know what I mean? Do you believe that there's a lack of confidence in Jey Uso as champion?
It's very possible. Like I'm like really trying to rack my brain and like
Yeah,
really like kind of figure out like how it came to this. Because I mean, I feel like he's been doing a decent job as champion. I feel like he still gets the crowd reactions, the belt looks good on him and whatnot.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm just like really shocked that they like took the title off him this fast. He didn't even surpass 2 months.
That's what I'm saying. And look, Kurt, I've never, okay, outside of Daniel Bryan because of an injury, right? I've never seen a champion who won a championship at WrestleMania and then lose it like that soon. Bro, they usually when you win a
Well,
championship at SummerSlam, you usually
well,
just you get it towards either SummerSlam or past it.
Well, technically, Drew McIntyre won the title at WrestleMania last year, then lost it 5 minutes
I
later.
mean, that's different though. That's a different scenario, because of
I
CM
know.
Punk. That's different. But when you have like, you got to remember, Drew was a heel. But when you have a baby face that wins the title at Mania, look, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna either hold on to that title till SummerSlam, or if not, if how well you're doing, you're gonna keep it after. Like Cody Rhodes for a prime example. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. That Intercontinental title reign that he had, that surprised me on how short it was. But this one, the World Heavyweight Championship, dude, that 51 days, wow. It just, I feel like there's a confidence issue that the company has in him, man. There's just something that, like, I don't know. Now, is Jey Uso going to go and chase after Gunther? Of course. Of course.
I kind
But,
of see them having a rematch at Night of Champions. I could
mm,
definitely see going in that direction.
okay.
Yeah, I seriously thought like Goldberg was gonna maybe show up and cost him the
Yeah.
title,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
yeah,
We thought that too.
or Rollins was gonna cash in, but fuck, Gunther just beat him just like that and won the belt back.
Man, this is
Damn.
by far, ever since they made the move to Netflix, I have to say this is by far the most surprising moment of
Most
Raw.
surprising moment, and funny enough, this is the first time the titles changed hands on Raw since Big E cashed in the Money in the Bank on Bobby Lashley 4 years ago.
Wow.
But yeah, man, a huge surprise way to end the show. Gunther is now a two-time World Heavyweight Champion,
Yeah.
and it looks like Gunther will be facing the winner of the King of the Ring tournament at SummerSlam. And from Gunther winning last night, and also the person who advanced in the King of the Ring tournament last night, it's starting to feel like that could be our potential SummerSlam championship match.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that Sami Zayn could be the one to win the King of the Ring, and then
I'm honestly, I am picking him
challenge.
to win. I am.
And then
I'm picking him.
look, I'm sad that Jey Uso lost the title. Perhaps maybe he'll get it back again at some point, or maybe
Yeah.
this is just a story to like kind of tell to kind of like get the people more behind him. But
True.
a Gunther and Sami Zayn story for the title going into SummerSlam. Yo, I would love to see that. That'd be
Oh
great.
hell yeah. And he's been talking about being the champion for a while now. So yeah.
Yeah, they've been teasing that for the last few months, and yeah, for him to
Yeah.
challenge Gunther, the man he dethroned for the IC title last year at WrestleMania for the
Hmm.
world title
Yeah.
at a big event like SummerSlam, yo, it's
Mhm.
gold.
Hey, and you may be there. So yeah.
I will be there.
Still haven't
What you
got your
get?
tickets yet, have you?
I'm gonna get it this week. I keep meaning to, but I don't get around to it. But I'm gonna get it this week.
Okay. Yeah, it's no rush though. But
Yeah.
yeah, this is man, this is surprising, man. I this 51 days.
Yeah, but take nothing away from Gunther. I'm happy that he has the belt back again, at least for the time being. We'll see where it goes in the next few months. And Gunther even said afterwards, when he got to the back, there was nobody there waiting for him to congratulate him or to say good
What?
job. Yeah, but he said he liked it. He said he prefers it that way because he doesn't need friends.
Yeah. You know what? Moving forward, be prepared for a big rant from Rikishi.
Oh yeah, it's inevitable. Yeah, he's gonna be going off.
Oh
If he
God.
has, it's probably happening as we speak. We're probably gonna end up
Right.
finishing the show, and then we're gonna
Yeah.
come across that rant from him.
Yeah. 51 days. That's what he's gonna say.
Yeah,
51 days.
yeah, he just had so much momentum going into WrestleMania, and then he had that big
Yeah.
moment where he won the title. And yeah, for it
Yeah.
to end this soon, fuck.
Dude, and how many times have he defended a title? Is it Logan Paul?
And that match with
Yo,
Seth Rollins that ended in a no contest.
jeez, dude. He has not had a clean title defense. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess it kind of says
Wow.
pretty much when you look at it that way, like when you look back at his title reign, even though it's been short, that from how it played out, yeah, they really didn't have a lot of faith in him.
I don't know what it is. Is it the ring work? Is it his mic skills? Even though he has support from the fans, that you can't go against that. That's probably the reason why they're like, hey, we gotta give this guy the title. Let's play it out. But when you look at his ring work and his mic skills a little bit, and like I said, his mic skills have gotten like a little bit repetitive, especially with Gunther. I don't know. Like I remember, was it last week? I remember when they were both in the locker room, right? When Gunther and Jey were in the locker room talking. I don't know, just like Gunther was just like carrying most of that segment. Like he was saying most of how he felt, and you felt what he said. But when Jey talks, it's like I'm not really getting much out of him. I guess I don't know if you feel that way. I guess that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think in some of his promos leading up to WrestleMania, it was pretty convincing, especially that one after Gunther attacked Jimmy.
No, that was a convincing one, but like that was a good one.
There was one
But
2 weeks ago. There was like one 2 weeks ago where it seemed like Jay maybe forgot some of his lines, and then like
yeah, yeah,
he kind of relied on the four letters, one word, yeet stuff. So maybe that might have swayed their decision. Who knows? But
yeah.
yeah, it's very strange that he lost the title so soon. But at least he can say that he won the Royal Rumble and won the title at WrestleMania, and at least got to say he had a title reign because a lot of people
True.
didn't even have that.
I know. Yeah, that yeah. Can't take
All
that
right.
away from him.
All right, but yeah, this definitely spices things up going into the summer. A lot can happen in these next few months, especially from what we saw last night. It
Hmm.
definitely gives you that realization that anything can happen on these shows.
Anything. That's been the whole motto and the mantra of this company for years, even before you were born. Anything could happen in this business.
And it happened last night. So yeah, last night's Raw was an incredible show, even better than Money in
Hmm.
the Bank was, better than
Yeah,
Money in the Bank was. And yeah, one of the best Raws of the whole year. The best Raw of the whole year besides the Raw after WrestleMania, and also the Raw where Io Sky beat Rhea Ripley for the title.
yeah. Look, like I said, man, I feel like Raw's product is actually decent. I like it. That's why I tune in every Monday. You know what I mean? I don't know why a lot of people are saying "It ain't good and blah." Like I don't know. You're probably seeing. I'm seeing something that you're not probably, guys. And like I said, if you don't like it, then stop watching it though. But me personally, I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Raw for the most part is still pretty good.
Yeah,
SmackDown could be better, mainly because SmackDown's 3 hours, so it feels like it
yeah.
drags all the time. And
They're
apparently
not
they're
gonna.
gonna.
They're not.
And
They're not gonna pull off of that. They're gonna stay on 3 hours, unfortunately.
yeah, it came out a few weeks ago that they're going to stay 3 hours for the foreseeable
Yeah.
future because realistically, USA doesn't have anything else in that third hour to replace SmackDown with that would do as good a ratings
Oh
as SmackDown
man.
does.
They need to come up with some new shows, man.
Yeah, because to be honest, other than WWE, to be honest, other than SmackDown, the only show they have that people watch regularly is like Law and Order SVU reruns.
Yeah. I don't know. They got to come up with some new shows, man. I think the at that I remember like a few years ago, several years ago, other than Raw that I watched on USA, I remember Queen of the South came on USA a lot. So I was
They,
watching that.
they had Queen of the South. They had that show Suits. I think they had
Yeah.
that other show with those two people who like got in trouble for like like fraud. They had that reality show with those two people who like got in trouble for like frauding the government out of millions of dollars, and they went to
Mm.
prison.
Hmm.
Chris and Christie or some shit like that.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, apparently they don't have those kind of shows anymore that people would want to watch. All they have is really WWE. So now we're
Oh
stuck with
man.
3 hour SmackDowns for the foreseeable future.
Man, come on, USA, pick it up, man. Get another show on your time slot, man.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But WWE officially announced during Money in the Bank that WrestleMania 42 will be returning to Las Vegas for the second straight
Oh
year.
God.
It's official.
Yeah, not to usually, and it's kind of sad that I'm saying this. Usually every year I'm kind of like, oh, awesome, great. But this year, Kurt, nah. It's gonna take me a while for me to get over it, but I'm not, like I said, I even told my girlfriend the other day about what happened. I told him like I wasn't pleased about the decision that they made.
Yeah, it's a little weird they did it the way they did. I
You don't
mean,
do that. That's bad.
I might still go as long as I can afford it. I might still go, especially
Same.
considering I didn't get to go this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, really weird way they went about doing it.
Not well, unprofessional. That's the one thing I have to
Yeah,
say.
you could
Unprofessional
say that.
because I my girlfriend didn't understand it, and I specifically told her, look, they made the decision that Next year it will be in New Orleans, and then you literally what a month or 2 months later you just like, oh well, we're not going to have it there anymore because we made a lot of money in Vegas. Well, wait a minute now. You're pretty much saying New Orleans can't do that. They've done that in the past on two separate occasions, and you already made a decision that you're going to have it there next year. And you're going to take it away from them because of money. I didn't like it. It was unprofessional.
Clown ass shit. Hate to be around that shit.
And
Shout out
look,
to Big L.
I'm not saying it's WWE's idea. I'm quite sure they weren't happy about the decision too, but you got to remember this is all on TKO. They were the one who like played a hand in it.
And you know what's crazy? I was actually at that bar watching Money in the Bank on Saturday, and
Yeah.
during Money in the Bank, they were showing the UFC fight on some of the other TVs. And
Mm.
guess who showed up during the UFC fight?
Um, like as a
Like as a guest
uh
celebrity, like a person like coming to watch like the main fights.
oh Triple H.
No, Triple H was at Money in the Bank. He couldn't be there.
Oh damn,
It was Trump.
really?
Yeah, and he got a standing ovation too.
I don't even
I,
care.
I even heard some of people. I even heard some of the people in the bar cheering for him. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to get out of here now. Yeah, you see what's going on with the whole ICE protest in LA,
Yeah,
right?
dude.
Yeah, it's
Of course,
crazy.
of course. That's come on. That's headline news. That's the come on. Everybody knows about that, and I'm not happy about it. Um,
And anybody out there who would snitch on these people to the police or the authorities to get them deported, anybody who would do that, you're a piece of shit as far as I'm concerned.
I'm not happy about it. This country was founded on welcoming everybody from the world. You know what I mean? To take that freedom, the rights to live here. You know what I mean? Look, if you came here legally or whatever, just find a way to get some citizenship. Just do it. You know what I mean? But to take their freedom away, their rights away of living in this country, which was built on freedom and the Constitution and all that, to take that away from him is disgusting to me. I with all the riots that I'm seeing and the protests and the violence that I'm seeing in LA, and it's just man, all my friends on social media are that's all they're talking about right now, man. It's sad.
Yeah, it's very sad. We've been seeing like a lot of this go on for years, and yeah, if you're happy to see like innocent people like taken from their families, taken from their children or whatever, and like put in detention centers and put in these like prisons where they have no access to anyone without any due process, yo, you are the lowest form of scum I've ever come across. Yeah, it's
And
disgusting. Whether you're Republican, whether you're Republican, Democrat, left, right, whatever, seeing that happen to anybody should upset you.
yeah, and it's what makes it worse. We're kind of like embarrassing ourselves because like I don't see other countries doing stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Canada
It's
doesn't do
like
this shit, as far as I know.
right or any other country. You know what I mean? It's just like we should be embarrassed about how
Very
we do things, about racism, and then also economy wise, and
political
health
climate.
health wise and all that stuff. And you go to these other countries, it's like they have it like they're more structured than us, and it's like, dude, I've heard people where they'll go to like Japan and then they'll come back to America. It's like, man, like, dude, Japan is way more structured than America and all this, and education too. Though, let's not forget about that education. You know, it's sad. We look bad when we do stuff like this, man. It's embarrassing. We shouldn't even be like that. We're the United States of America. We should be um, not
United.
necessarily being better than other countries, but we should be leading by example. You know what I mean? Because of the rights and the freedoms that we have in this
Or at
country.
least we should have. But apparently, certain people want to take some of those rights away, and fuck those people. I mean that when I say that.
We have that. It's in the Constitution. When you look at the Constitution, it states the freedoms and the rights, but it's like we're going against it. Bottom line.
Yeah, it's been a sick game they've been playing for years, and more of us need to speak up against the sick game and fight it back against this sick game, and hopefully there'll be some chance of change. All right, but I think we've said what we needed to say today. My brothers, anything else you want to get into?
Oh, nothing much, honestly. Nothing much, man. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to how the rest of the King and Queen of the Ring tournament is going to go down, and the build up leading up to Night of Champions, and also the build up between CM Punk and John Cena. And I cannot wait for that. And when that comes, me and Kurt will give you the news that you need to hear. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh, also, subscribe to us. Our episodes are available on Spotify, Speaker, and if you want to see the video edition of this episode or any other episodes, subscribe to us on YouTube. And also, we're on social media on Twitter, known as X, also Instagram, and yeah, Twitter and Instagram. My bad. At the champs.clash, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, holler at us. Let us know what you think of our product. We'd love to discuss with you what we do on this product on a regular basis and have you possibly as guests on the show. Also, debate with you about the things we talk about in a healthy way, keyword healthy way. So, yeah, holler at us. Let us know what you think. And until next time, for John Randall, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of the Clash of Champions. Take care. Enjoy your week. And remember, most of all, don't be an asshole, a douchebag, and an insensitive fucking real life or social media because that toxic bullshit is for the birds.
And ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed, and always stay adventurous.
Especially when you go on dates. All right, peace, guys.